Hello there, and welcome to Fish, Chips and Irish Whips.
Yes.
Wait,
Hello.
what's that? Aren't these the handsome, stuck in the mid-card boys that you're used to hearing?
How do they know we're handsome? They have to listen to us.
They assume we're handsome. We sound handsome. Well, you don't sound handsome.
Yeah, I've got an ugly voice.
You've got an ugly voice, but handsome. One handsome and one below average boys from stuck in the mid-card. Well, we've decided to change tact ever so slightly. And it's not that slightly, because really we're not covering much that's not British anymore, because there isn't much in the way of British podcasts, British wrestling podcasts.
So it's a matter of national pride.
As a matter of national pride, something I didn't know I had. I still don't think I have. But I now think that I need to battle for Queen and Country to defend British wrestling, or at least...
She watches the TV, you know.
She does. We'll be mentioning about how apparently the Queen does watch all
Stuck
the
in
wrestling.
No, that was us. The wrestling. She watches the wrestling.
She watches the wrestling. She probably listens as well. She's probably one of the many who's listened to our many podcasting ventures. But this is Fish, Chips and Irish Whips, a name that I came up with very quickly and was too stupid not to use.
I hate it, but I also hate myself for actually liking it a little bit.
Yep. So he fell into my trap.
The endearing trap.
So we're here to cover British wrestling. We've got this week. We'll be talking about the New Year's Eve World of Sport sort of one-off special that is probably turning into a series, but they want to call it a one-off special. So in case it went wrong, in case it went disastrously wrong,
Despite crowning a new champion.
despite crowning a champion for something that might not ever be defended. A weird thing, but we have that to cover. We're going to cover a lot of What Culture Pro Wrestling, probably.
At some point, not today.
And not today, in the future. We're going to cover the UK tournament that WWE are holding. We're going to look at ICW, maybe a few other places that... We're not very knowledgeable in British wrestling. We're learning along with you.
Well, I've seen a bit of What Culture.
That's...
It set me up nicely for the people that showed up in World of Sport.
It's true. There does seem to be a nice sort of staple of
Nice.
British good workhorses who go around the different companies who I'm sure we'll bump into much more regularly than others. Like El Ligero seems to be literally everywhere.
Fucking love El Ligero.
It makes sense that he's good if he literally wrestles every day of his life.
But how would he know? Because he's got the mask on.
Oh,
You might just
true.
be two separate dudes.
There might be a lot of El Ligeros. I guess that must be it. We've cracked it, folks.
We've cracked it.
But now we'll head straight in to talking about World of Sport.
Yes.
This broadcast on New Year's Eve,
I think
ITV, 5 p.m.
Okay, well, that was more specific than
That
ours.
was, yeah, a real primetime TV on, for you US listeners, ITV is a...
It's the Daily Mail, but a TV channel.
If
you don't know what that is...
It's a terrestrial TV channel, so you don't have to pay any money for it. We all get it.
Cable listeners.
We all get ITV, so it's about as widespread as it could be.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. It's also... the shit-eating public. It's what they watch.
Basically, but they're thinking about bringing wrestling back in a big way, because World of Sport obviously has quite a big heritage that we got to hear about 10 times during this one-off special.
That's true. There was Giant Haystacks. He made an appearance.
They all made a lot of appearances. We'll talk about them for some of the video packages. To open up, it did show a lot of the old-looking clips. Basically,
a lot of people doing big splashes.
A lot of very large men falling on other large men.
Yeah,
but some good bits too. Some vaguely good wrestling from for old times. I saw men do like cartwheels and
Giant
arm
haystacks
drags.
hit a man on the head.
I saw a man
He
hit
chopped
another
him.
man on the head.
He chopped him.
Gave him a right good chopping. We on commentary we were introduced to our fantastic commentators of good old JR making an appearance from across the pond,
Jim Ross with all his Englishisms in tow.
which was fantastic. Hearing him say it's cooked tougher than a £1 steak.
He's obviously never been to Aldi.
Everyone knows that £1 steaks can be delicious. Thank you, Aldi. This episode sponsored by Aldi.
Get your meat there.
And Alex Shane was the other commentator, the show stealer.
Yeah. Not the showstopper. He
Not-
steals the show, not stops
He
it.
doesn't stop it, he just steals it. He just gives it a cheeky steal.
Less selfish than some other talent.
I think selfish would be some of the right words there. We kicked off the show with a World of Sport Championship match.
Ooh, first time in 30 years.
First time in 30 years for the
They kept saying,
big belt.
for the big belt, which looks newer than it did in all the clips.
Which looks very, very different. I think the first thing to point out is when our first wrestler, Grado, came out, his weight was announced in stone.
Yes, very confusing.
Very
Don't like
British. Very British, but makes me understand very little how much he weighs compared to other wrestlers.
Yeah, like I know how much he weighs in terms of compared to me, but not
Yeah.
like other people.
Not like how much he weighs compared to the Big Show.
Yeah, what's the Big Show? Is he 10 stone, 20 stone, 50 stone?
Probably a lot of stone. I would
Yeah, but
guess
how
at least
many
a
stones is too many stones?
lot. I mean, the Big Show probably is too
Well,
many
yeah.
stones.
He maxes out the weight on them like
on the
you know,
on the-
analog.
on the standard scales. Yeah, he needs digital scales. That should go without saying,
Oh yeah.
I suppose.
But what about that one that Crash Holly used to carry around with him?
Oh yeah,
Proper weight
the
scales.
big scales.
The big
Crash
scales.
Holly's big scales.
Mm.
Poor Crash Holly. Grado cut like a pretty cool promo. Seemed quite genuine.
Can't believe how over Grado is for a new crowd that basically I wouldn't think would know much about wrestling. Yeah.
Big Show is 31.495 stones.
31.49 foot what?
31.
31.
Basically
let's just say
31.5.
32. 31.5.
We can do
About 31.5 is just under.
31 and a half studs. So now we know how much he weighs in regards to Grado.
So that's like double what Grado?
Yeah.
Pretty much double what he was?
I think so, yeah.
That's a lot. Grado's not a small man.
Grado is not a little man. Well, there we have it. Breaking
Fact.
news here on Fish, Chips and Irish Whips.
And every week we'll try and give you some kind of
weight measurement.
to put it into perspective. These English talent. Next week it's going to be Kane. Let's see how much Kane weighs.
Next week,
in
how much
stones.
Kane weighs in stones. I like that. That's a fun new segment. We've got new segments again.
Yay! More fucking tunes.
So yeah, Grado cut this cool promo about how exciting it was to be in World of Sport and how it was the best moment of his life, and he just seems genuine. He does seem like he's very happy to be a wrestler, which is nice. I like Grado.
He is.
He's an over babyface, and as someone who watches a lot of WWE, I don't understand this as a concept.
He's your cell though. He's your cell.
He is my son. It's yourself.
It's your cell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's true. I'm sorry. Wrong pronunciation.
Great. What a start. Getting
Getting it wrong.
We now have to sound Scottish on a podcast.
It's your cell.
Oh,
That was sleazy.
it was like if Grado was trying to like sleep with a person, giving someone the eye.
Give me the eye, pal.
Why? I don't like this new Scottish twist.
Oh god, it's like Mrs. Doubtfire.
A gross, sleazy Mrs. Doubtfire.
This is awful. This is all awful.
You're regretting moving away from the formula now.
Yeah, that's it. This was all a failed experiment.
Sit closer, Lyle.
I like when we used to do podcasts without you being sat next to me.
Put your hand on my thigh.
Yeah, very over with the crowd. A lot of chants for him.
Yes, you're a sale.
It was really nice. But then he was interrupted by one Dave Mastiff, a wrestler I had no experience of, but who was literally massive.
It's a shame he wasn't Johnny Morris.
But he did have him with him.
Well, yeah, that's true. Good point.
So yeah, Dave Mastiff came out with his two lackeys of Johnny Morris and
Suspenders and Scarf Man.
Shah Samuels, I believe, my new favourite wrestler, because he wears suspenders and a scarf, which is enough for me.
He's fine. Yeah.
I hope to see more of him in the coming episodes of World of Sport and every other British wrestling, please.
He's not someone I've come across.
No, I've never seen him before. I also had never come across Dave Mastiff.
Me neither.
Or in fact, I haven't come across any of these three people.
Yeah. Johnny Morris, he's good. He's an angry, hard man from Cumbria. If there is such a thing, I don't think there is.
British colloquialism jokes.
Oh, don't worry, Yorkshire. We'll move on to you.
Great. That's great. I'm sure all our American listeners are fucking loving this.
Well, it's just like, when they're like, oh, damn no, not North Koreans.
No! When the Americans are talking about the damn North Koreans.
Them damn North... I've forgotten the name again. North Dakotans. North Dakotians.
It's just like, there we go. We're just adding a bit of flavour for you guys. I'm sure you're enjoying it.
See, we've got the weight measurement. We've got like how the bickering counties are like states or other countries. Entirely.
Mastiff, was a very big, scary-looking man. Interrupted him, told him to shut his gob because we are in England now.
Yeah.
And the match sort of got under the way. It was a fairly slow-paced match, but I didn't think it was bad for it. And I felt like commentary sort of helped fill the gaps in what was going on. It felt like they were getting more chance to sort of sell, and all the moves the moves that Mastiff did especially felt very powerful, and like he was a proper monster heel.
Yeah. It's weird, because I've seen Grado in a couple of matches. It's weird seeing him be the smaller man. He's always usually like one of the bigger men in the match, if not the biggest. So it was weird to see him kind of work a slower pace against someone bigger than him.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
I can imagine that is odd. Grado, I mean, it makes sense to put him in that role, though, in terms of, like, I don't think there's a British wrestler that's more beloved to people that they could get easily as Grado to be, like, the perfect, babyface, and if he was bigger than the heel he was facing on the first broadcast, I don't think it would work.
Yeah, no. It works. In terms of dynamics, it works, and storytelling is over babyface, beating monster heel. Yeah.
To be honest, the thing that just struck me most from this match and I enjoyed the most was just that I don't think I'm used to such a crowd being so 100% behind someone and 100% against another. It felt like sort of watching wrestling back from when I was like a child almost. It felt like that level of where all your friends hated the same wrestlers and liked the same wrestlers. It was like a simpler time in wrestling.
None of these, confusing grey areas, apart from Stone Cold, who was one confusing grey area.
But at least everyone liked him.
Yeah, anti-hero that everyone liked.
Yeah, but I just thought that was really cool. There was the two lackeys, Shah Samuels and Johnny Morris. They sort of caused a distraction and pushed Grado off the ropes and allowed Mastiff to get one over on Grado and hit him with a corner cannonball for the finish. Kevin Owens style, but about 10 times the weight.
My God, can you imagine if David Otunga was on commentary? What would he say about Mastiff's body shape?
Oh my God, Mastiff is a block of a man.
He's a big, large hunk of meat.
He really is, but he manages to hold it incredibly threateningly.
Yeah.
he doesn't look like you would ever belittle him for being chunky.
No. He's about as tall as he is wide.
He is. He's like a much wider Braun Strowman.
Yeah,
he's like
Braun
a double width
was a bit-
Braun
yeah.
Strowman.
He's like the regular Kit Kat version,
He is.
rather than the chunky version.
He's the chunky Kit Kat equivalent of Braun Strowman.
That's a Twinkie for you guys.
We're not trying to belittle Americans. I'd like to point that out right now. Or at least I. One half of us here.
Well, you didn't vote Trump, so you belittled them anyway.
I couldn't vote Trump. That's literally not the country I'm in.
Just pay someone phone someone up from the America who doesn't want to vote and just make them do it.
Oh, I also wanted to point out the end of this match. I'm carrying us on apparently that the crowd had fantastic foam fingers on and were all pointing up and down, which felt so incredibly British. It was like watching gladiators.
Oh god, it was. It something I noticed, which we'll probably get onto more since we watched the end together.
Yeah.
You didn't notice how awful and jarring the camera angles were until I pointed them out.
And then when you did, I couldn't unsee it.
It was awful. Basically, they did like a weird zoom in thing whenever anyone hit the mat.
Yeah,
If they
it's like
even showed them hitting the mat at all.
It's like they sort of purposefully wobbled the camera to make the effect more powerful almost, but it just made you feel a bit ill.
Yeah, it kept panning to the audience at like stupid times.
Yeah, in kind of a WWE-esque way, but in certain matches it actually felt worse than that.
Yeah. Then in the female match, which we're going to talk about a bit later on, you didn't see someone go for the pin or kick out of the pin because they were just showing the audience.
Yeah, it was weird. It was all just put together very oddly. I mean, I assume it's kind of growing pains for a new series of...
Yeah.
Or at least I hope that's it.
Me too. You can kind of tell at this kind of juncture that a lot of the people involved in the production are not wrestling fans. Probably never really seen any wrestling.
Yeah, the whole set and way it's put together does not make it feel like wrestling. It feels like a sort of standard Saturday night British almost game show, like sort of a la Total Wipeout or...
Holy shit, I just had a thought.
Okay.
We've covered it on ITV.
Yeah.
Saturday night. Do you reckon, as like guest presenters, we're going to get Ant and Dec? Can you imagine?
I hope Ant and Dec present wrestling.
That would be incredible.
That actually would be really interesting.
Oh god, could they call the accent like next to JR?
JR, Ant, and Dec.
And Alex Shane.
And Alex Shane.
Four people teams.
Oh, not another 4-man booth. Nobody needs 4 commentators. Having 2 commentators was so nice. Just having JR on commentary feels lovely.
Do you feel like he's lost his touch a little bit?
I don't know if he's lost his touch or if it's just that it's kind of a new situation, a new set of, performers to get used to. Because he does still do a lot of commentary, and specifically does New Japan stuff like every week at the moment. So I assume that, new broadcast partner, I don't know if he's ever worked with Alex Shane before, but I've certainly not heard of that combination in anywhere I've sort of heard about. And I think commentary can take time in terms of being new to a promotion, being new to some of the talent, being new to your broadcast colleague. I still thought he was better than pretty much anyone else, if he has lost it a little bit, if that was the case, but I think it's probably more growing pains.
Yeah, I just feel like we were talking about before that it's almost like he forgot the names of some moves.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was... I know what you mean.
He didn't call the moves... He just called a lot of things strikes or holds.
Yeah.
Rather than being more specific. And I don't know if that was like a creative choice.
I suppose that could also be a creative choice.
It's
That sounds like a very
Yeah,
very
don't use the actual names of the
Don't get
moves
too
to-
technical. Yeah, this is primetime TV.
Yeah, that was my only kind of thing with JR, and I
Yeah.
noticed it more as the program went on.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
After the match, we had a backstage segment meeting for the first time Mr. Beasley, our general manager.
Oh, Mr. Beasley.
What a great man.
Oh, dude.
That man is such a... He's incredibly British. He, at some point later, we'll wait till we get there. We'll get to some great Mr. Beasley lines later. But
And his ridiculous office.
and his ridiculous, impractical office. But yeah, he was talking about being happy World of Sport was back. Got interrupted by an angry Grado who was, peeved that he had been sort of cheated out of his title match by Mastiff and his goons. Mastiff appeared and gloated a lot and shoved the title in Grado's face, laughing, and there was sort of an almost brawl. And then we sort of cut away from the segment.
What a rude man.
What a rude man. But after the break, we cut back to Mr. Beasley, who said that he was gutted that the title match had such shenanigans in it.
Absolutely gutted.
He was absolutely gutted. And he said that World of Sport's a prestigious brand and wants it a deserving champion, so the title's being defended again.
Also said, something about no foul play.
No foul play.
Then the next match was a ladder match.
But the title match later on in the night the title will be defended by Mastiff against the winner of the Battle Royale.
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it?
But apparently we're not pronouncing Battle Royal right.
We're instead saying it like it's a Burger King meal.
The Battle Royale. But that was an interesting moment, was discovering that everyone wanted to make a battle royal sound much more exciting and prestigious than a match that you see all the time.
Or, a big one round the corner for all the people in the wrestling know.
Yeah.
The biggest one of the year.
No, it's a battle royale. It's very different.
A rattle boil.
But then we had a big video package, our first big video package of the night, about how lovely.
Professional.
That was just what everyone wants to hear. What a disgusting man. We had our first video package of the evening regarding the history of World of Sport. These were more interesting than I thought they'd be. Got to see a lot of, big names in British wrestling. Big Daddy, Marty Jones, Johnny Saint.
Giant haystacks.
Finley was there for a while. Fit Finley. Kendo Nagasaki. Quite a few
Dynamite Kid.
big names. Dynamite Kid.
Davey
Boy Smith.
Jones.
You can't just say words.
Steve Johnson. There.
Is that a real one? I don't.
It might be. Sounds like one, doesn't it?
Oh, for God's sake. I apologise for my non-factual colleague here.
Trafalgar Rupert.
He was my favourite back in the day. They made it all. I thought the way they put the video packages together made it all look a lot more exciting than it could have
Probably
done.
was. It almost definitely
It
was.
almost definitely
back in
was.
the day.
It also looked incredibly British. I did enjoy watching Big Daddy marching around in a big sequin jacket and top hat while a crowd of old women chanted around.
Yeah, we got some interesting stories that people were hit with bags with bricks in them.
Yep.
Actual old women started fights with them, out of the crowds.
We got told a lot that the Queen definitely watched World of Sport.
The Queen definitely does.
100% the Queen watches
Like a
World
million
of Sport.
%.
Everyone on the World of Sport roster apparently agrees that the Queen watches.
Yeah, she's a big fan.
Big World of Sport.
But when she has time, because that's important. They did mention that she only watches when she's got time.
No, she doesn't. It's not an everyday thing. Just if she's got a spare 5 minutes in between shits.
Yeah, in between shits and not doing anything. We're royalists here at Fish Chips and Irish Whips.
We definitely are.
We definitely are.
I'm not against that.
Well, I'm not
If I could watch wrestling as part of my day-to-day life.
What? She's the queen. She's definitely got a fucking TV in the toilet.
She's got. Oh God.
So she can watch it and have a shit.
Oh, well,
You know, she doesn't play by our rules.
We can't even imagine this luxury. I have to watch like YouTube on my phone while I'm shitting.
I once set up a complex system of mirrors from the bathroom round the corner to my laptop. Everything was backwards.
Why don't you just take your laptop?
Because the charger, it doesn't work without the charger.
That is so something that you do.
And look into the private lives of these proper British fellows presenting this podcast.
Yeah, proper British.
Next up, we had a Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yes, we did. Before the Royal Rumble
Yep.
match later on in the night.
We have a lot of strange, definitely not just WWE matches tonight on World of Sport. The winner of the Money in the Bank ladder match would be put into the Battle Royale later on. Why was it a ladder match?
Because it just was.
Because the briefcase had a contract in about the.
I mean, were they gonna have the Battle Royal anyway? So right, because I've just started thinking about it now.
Okay.
Because the way he phrased it at the time, it was like, oh yeah, it's okay, Grado, you get another shot because we're having another match now, which I've just decided, so it's fair for you. And it seems like they already had lots of matches planned.
No,
to go
these
on
matches
to something later on.
They make the matches very much on the fly in World of Sport. None of these were planned at all. They just had a room of men, and then as things happened, chucked them out.
But you know, we got to see what happened before the match. And like,
we did. Oh, this is something that isn't good about ITV production values that I feel we must mention. They show clips of matches before advert breaks of what's going to happen, but they still make out like it's sort of a live show, in that the commentators react as it's happening, and it doesn't work. It messes with your brain.
Does not work at all, and it ruined some of the high spots of the matches.
Like it showed, for example, in this match, it showed. It was Delicious Danny jumping off the ladder in the sort of only time someone jumped off a ladder in the match.
Yeah. There was a big ass German suplex as well. Again, shown in the highlights.
Oh, they're like the two spots I wrote down about the match as the main things that happened. So yeah, this happens. Apparently, we just get our matches ruined in World of Sport a little bit, but that's something that if I had one thing I wouldn't want to happen if this carries on, it's the clips of matches before they happen.
Yeah,
it's probably the thing that was the worst out of everything they did in this.
I don't know. I think the weird ass camera is still probably more annoying to me. But
yeah, it's a tough call. So there were 4 people in this match. We had Kenny Williams, a 23-year-old man who looks like a twat in 3D glasses, a neon pink outfit, and carrying like a skateboard but without the wheels.
Yeah, discount hype bro.
He was basically a hype bro, but worse. But I mean, not really worse.
I was gonna say, if you trim all this shit off Mauro Rawley.
Did you just combine Mauro Ranallo and Mojo Rawley?
Yep, I don't know what you're on about.
Okay.
I've just moved past it. I'm not finishing that.
So yeah, that was Kenny Williams, really a good wrestler. Looks just like Mauro Ranallo, Mojo Rawley. We had Sam Bailey. I've written about him, just a man.
Is he the one with the blue pants?
I think so, yeah.
Quite
He was good, but upon coming out, just a man.
Yeah, he was just a man from Manchester, apparently.
Yep. CJ Banks, who was a bald, sneering heel, who is pound for pound the best around.
He likes his rhymes.
I do like the rhyme, pound for pound the best around. That's catchy.
It is, yeah. Almost as catchy as fish chips and Irish whips.
That sounds like something we could have come up with.
Pound for pound the best around. You know, if you were a wrestler, that would totally be like something you'd fucking...
Good. That's okay, because he was one of the best in this match. I thought he was good
He
at
was
being
good.
just sort of a thuggish bald heel. And we had Delicious Danny, a cowboy stripper.
Yep.
Literally
Who,
just a man who looked like he was a cowboy stripper.
JR said something about there being only enough room for one cowboy hat in the arena.
And let's face it, in almost any other British arena, it would only be
It
him.
would only be JR and maybe a Hindu that stumbled in.
Accidental Hindus and JR. No, Delicious Danny has ruined that for JR. I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, he could never wear his hat again now.
Yeah, Delicious Danny, though, he did look like
Delicious.
a very delicious man. This match was really fast paced. It had an awesome early flurry by Kenny Williams, doing he did a springboard elbow and a drop kick through the ropes to hit a ladder into people and a suicide dive, and just came across as really good, which I was especially surprised at with him being like 23.
Yeah.
I just thought that seems like someone who could become very, very good.
He's definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, and we will.
Probably. I just hope he gets a better gimmick.
I loved his outfit.
His outfit was fine, but his gimmick, needs... Well, they did just do a Money in the Bank ladder match. I guess I can gimmick infringement slide for now.
Yeah, no, that's fair. If we're gonna complain about the infringement of gimmicks,
we may as well start with the big one.
May as well start with the company on the whole. Unfortunately, in this match, Delicious Danny did literally the worst jumping off a ladder of all time.
Well, to be fair though, can we talk about the ladders for a minute? They were dog shit.
The ladders were just real ladders with a flat step on top.
They're not like American kind of ladders. I don't think American ladders were even like that.
No.
Like, they're like what you imagine a painter to have in the back of his van.
Yeah. No, that's definitely it. They weren't wrestling ladders, they were decorators ladders.
Yeah. Clearly not reinforced or...
Not prevented from wobbling, maybe, if someone was going to jump off them. So, poor Delicious Danny, who I'm sure's a perfectly competent wrestler. Or at least I hope so. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Had to climb on this ladder, then sort of
which only had one steps on one side as
which
well.
only had steps on one side. Try and sort of point it in one direction as it wobbled awfully, because it did a lot of wobbling. It was a wobbly ladder, and then sort of try to jump off it onto people who had already had to pretend to be stood still for about
way longer than they should have done.
Yeah. And basically just sort of... He jumped off the ladder in a way that I feel like I would have jumped off a ladder if I had been forced at gunpoint to do a jump off a ladder and was very scared.
It looked like he was going to do a flip or trying to do a flip, but he didn't do a flip.
He just sort of wobbled and dropped on them. It was a bad moment. That was the high spot of the match, apparently. That was supposed to be.
I love it, Michelangelo.
So the ending was all four of them were up on ladders in the middle of the ring in that sort of stereotypical way, and Kenny Williams won by kicking CJ Banks up and
was brutal. It was ace.
It was a really cool moment, and yeah, it goes into the battle royale.
The battle royale with cheese.
Then we had another old-fashioned video package. They mentioned in this one, which I wanted to point out, that they called good guys blue eyes and bad guys villains.
So not face and heel.
Not face and heel, apparently.
Was that an American sort of?
I guess so. Which I was completely unaware about.
Me too.
I like the phrase blue eyes for a good guy. I think that's really weird.
There's like white meat baby faces.
Yeah.
And, what Aryan blue eyes.
Aryan blue eyes baby faces.
Yeah.
in the UK, we only like baby faces that Hitler would have approved of.
Jesus. New format, new content, same old dog shit.
We have next up the first ever woman-on-woman match in World of Sport history. We did have a woman wrestler back in the day in Klondike Kate, but she only fought men. Klondike Kate.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's part of a name.
It's part of a name, so it's not just the word dyke that was shouted from behind us. Dyke.
I'm blaming the seizures.
So yeah, this was a match. This is the first women's match that wasn't, because the only other woman fought a lot of men and looked like a very scary bruiser of a woman. To be fair,
she lost a lot of weight.
She she didn't look like she was the same human.
No,
it was scary, to be quite frank. The first woman in this match was Alexis Rose. That was just a very normal woman. Because on this podcast I won't know many wrestlers, because I'm just getting into British wrestling, I will provide my initial description of them in brackets in my notes and tell you what they are. Which, for example, the blue pants guy who was just a man in the last one. This was normal looking. Alexis Rose, normal looking. And she was there to take on Viper, heavy set monster heel / Jake the Snake.
Yeah, if Nia Jax
if Nia Jax met Jake the Snake Roberts and was generally a bit more of a budget version of both, that is what Viper was. This match was kind of, to me, the same concept as the first match, the Grado and like the sort of big kind of slow match with someone who was supposed to be more of a monster, but I thought this one was a lot slower than the opening match.
Yeah.
This was a little bit more dull. Viper did look vicious. She seemed like kind of like a cool character, but I just don't really know if Alexis Rose held her own or if it was just like sort of good chemistry, but this match just fell a bit flat for me.
I think it was essentially a glorified squash match.
Yeah.
And, with them having the first broadcast, I don't think they could have just had a,
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It was like a stretched out squash match. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think that's fair. Viper won with a senton. I really love in World of Sport, by the way, that finishers seem to just be like any move that looks a bit hard. Like moves that people like. For example, like Bray Wyatt and Kevin Owens both do sentons and would never ever pin a person with them. Kevin Owens' cannonball has been it's supposed to be basically the same as like a chop in, WWE.
A light breeze.
No one will ever feel pain from it. Whereas here it's like a finisher. It's really cool. I appreciated that a lot about World of Sport. There was none of this kicking
fake
out forever
thing,
yeah. I mean, that could come.
That could come quite easily.
All these things could happen, but
I'll give it a few years.
Yeah, but no, fairly dull match, but not like unwatchable or anything. Just compared to the others, it was a slower point, I thought, in the evening. Yeah. We had another history lesson next. I didn't not enjoy these history lessons. I just think it's not worth talking about them on a podcast.
Yeah.
If you go to the Wikipedia page for World of Sport, there's probably a lot of this information. It might be a bit less entertainingly framed, but I did kind of like finding out about World of Sport because I literally knew nothing about World of Sport wrestling. I'd heard the name and people saying that like British wrestlers had the World of Sport style, like Mauro Ranallo would say that about like Zack Sabre Jr. and stuff like that.
Yeah,
in the Cruiserweight Classic. So it's something that I've heard a lot of reference to because it's it was a big institution, but it's like way before our time at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of cool to find out about that. Next up, we had our first tag team match in the World of Sport
with two people that I knew quite well.
Yeah.
The Iron Man Joe Coffey, which the audience apparently knew as well because they kept humming Iron Man.
Because Iron Man was all that happened in the arena.
And
with his brother Mark Coffey,
who I don't care about.
I didn't know existed. They were talking about him being real brothers though.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a thing.
Yeah. Well, good for them.
And
I guess
Rampage
Brown,
who is a bruiser of a man, and his friend, a slightly
Rampage
smaller
Jr.
Rampage called Ashton Smith, but who was like, the crowd did chant. Did they chant like Rampage Jr.?
They chanted that as soon as they came out.
Yeah. But I like both these teams. They both look like they were sort of like were actually teammates. They like dressed similarly and had like the same face paint and stuff, which I thought was cool, especially because I literally knew two of them as being singles wrestlers, so I wasn't expecting them to have like perfectly
really good
allocated lackeys.
What was JR saying about coffee sandwiches? strong coffee, no decaf.
Strong coffee, no decaf. A lot of coffee-based puns.
Oh, there's a coffee sandwich.
That was when someone was in between both of the coffees.
As you can imagine.
As you may imagine. This was a really cool match though. Joe Coffey, I think, was the standout to me. Because, I mean, I knew he was good from what I'd seen of him in general, but he did some really cool things. He did like a really cool sort of spinning
He does that
underhook thing.
Didn't do that, sorry.
Yeah. And
the crossbody he does in every match.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
He did do that as well, yeah. Also awesome. Rampage did a lot of cheating because Rampage is a bad man, but is very good at doing that.
He's good at being a bad man.
He's good at being a bad man. I think Joe Coffey got probably the hottest of hot tags in this match.
Yeah.
His brother,
Adam Coffey?
Mark, I think. Baby Coffey was being isolated.
Espresso.
It's espresso.
Jesus.
We're not.
Oh yeah, no. What did I say?
We're not mispronunciating the words. That's embarrassing.
Oh, it was so sad.
That was awful. Yeah.
Beautiful.
To end this match, there was a coffee sandwich in the Ashton.
Kutcher?
Stop just adding names. Write your own notes next time. Ashton Smith was in a coffee sandwich in that Rampage had been sent out of the ring and was stuck in between the coffees. This all sounds very lewd.
in between the coffee.
And then Joe Coffey hit his was it like a spinning lariat? His finisher, discus lariat.
Yeah, I think he used to call the black coffee. That could be another move. He definitely had a move called the black coffee.
That does make a lot of sense. That sounds like something that JR would have loved.
Yeah, before all the coffee-based puns came to light.
Yeah, that was a cool match though. I thought the tag match was fun.
I enjoyed it a lot.
I'm excited to see more from everyone in this match at later dates in our British expeditions.
Oh, Joe Coffey, definitely.
Yeah, and Rampage. They were the standouts, and both did really cool jobs. We had a segment backstage after this where...
is it The Office? Is it The Office bit?
In Mr. Beasley's office, he was being threatened by Dave Mastiff about the...
He was just holding his tie for about 5 minutes in the background before the...
Yeah, the interviewer, whose name I forget...
Renee Young.
Renee Young, the interviewer, was very cross at the doorway and had to barge the two lackeys out of the way. Especially the very rude Shah Samuels with his very rude braces. And yeah, in the office, Mastiff was threatening Mr. Beasley, who shouted that you can't threaten a senior citizen like him. And told him to get out of his office. What was the office like?
Well, okay. So there is the door where the interviewer came in through, where the two lackeys were standing guard, and then there was a desk in the right hand corner, and then there was another door, which was also another exit. So it was nicer. It was like a
this office was essentially a hallway where the boss worked. So he was throwing him out of his office, but he was throwing him out the other side of his office. So I imagine he'd have had to do a really awkward walk around to get back where he was.
Yeah, so that's why you shouldn't threaten the man in the office. You have to go slightly out of your way
because you have to go
double back and.
That was the weirdest design for an office I've ever seen. I liked it though. You could tell they had to shove it together last minute and only had one room.
We've only got one room big enough for this giant man. It's a hallway.
And it's actually a hallway. It's secretly a hallway.
Did his desk even have a phone on it?
I'm
bet
not
it
sure. We'll have to watch it back. Mr. Beasley's great though. The backstage segments with Mr. Beasley are one of my favourite parts in World of Sport.
They are mine too, but I don't know if it's because I just find them really funny.
They are really funny. We next match was El Ligero.
Ligero.
Your favourite.
I love him.
Versus Zach Gibson, who was like a thuggish bald scouser. Who, seemed to play the role pretty good. Gibson was like a good heel. He was really he was smug when he needed to be, but also just a bit vicious. Ligero was just
awesome.
Really good in the match.
Like usual.
Really cool.
So good.
Some good high flying moves, just very good technically as well. He won with what's his finisher called? Was it his finisher?
C4L.
Or did he do it wrong or something?
I remember the C4L being like a bit more flippy.
I think JR called it something else, so I wasn't sure if it was definitely his finisher or if he'd did something a bit more modified. But
yeah,
it could have just been JR getting a move wrong.
As was the pattern of the evening.
But no, this was this match was just sort of a random singles match, but I think it ended up being really, really good. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Not that much more to say on it, particularly. Just it was good.
It was good. Yeah,
it was good. That.
Yeah, my favourite match of the night.
Oh, revealing that early.
Well, it's got El Ligero in it.
Yeah,
I called it before we even watched it.
You did say it was your favourite of the night, and
before we watched it.
But next up, how was this not your favourite match of the night? It's the Battle Royale.
Oh yeah, it is. Well, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I also had El Ligero in, I guess.
It did. Yeah, we pretty much every match of the evening ended up putting people in this Battle Royale.
I don't know how Johnny Moss and Suspenders got into the Battle Royale.
I think they were just put in because I think it was supposed to make Mastiff annoyed at Mr. Beasley in a backstage segment because he was like, "Look, your lackeys are going to be in there. Maybe you'll have to fight one of them." But they seemed like they were just being the heels in the match that you didn't want to win anyway. It didn't really make much sense.
Yeah. But
I was glad they were in the match because basically they almost entirely dominated it.
Yeah, it was good. Johnny Moss
threw out Kenny Williams immediately. So, his Money in the Bank victory came up looking a bit short. Ligero got thrown out almost immediately afterwards because he'd been injured by Bald Man earlier. He was thrown out by Shah Samuels. But there's also a mystery man in this Battle Royale they've been building up.
Yeah, but didn't show up.
He wasn't in the match, was he?
He wasn't really in the match.
This was really weird. But where is the mystery man? No, he's still not there. Then next up, both members of the winners of the tag team match, Joe and
Adam,
Baby Coffey.
Baby.
You've called him Adam every time. It's definitely not Adam.
Adam Coffey.
They were eliminated as well by, once again, Johnny Moss and Shah Samuels. And at that point, the mystery man, who was a good guy but decided to not do most of the match, appeared, and it was Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Yeah, not only did he show up late, all the other contestants had also just had matches about an hour ago.
Yep. So this was it didn't make him feel like he was the...
Fresh and late.
Fresh and late, definitely, He did, to be fair, I'm pretty sure he was invincible for 5 minutes when he appeared.
No, that's true.
He didn't really they did make out that he was a very fresh person in that he didn't take any damage for a long time. I wasn't really aware that Davey Boy Smith had a son that was a wrestler, so it came as kind of a surprise, but felt like a big deal.
Yeah.
Because, there's no bigger name in British wrestling.
What about the giant haystacks?
Well, apart from obviously giant haystacks, and, well, I get
Big Daddy.
They are big, but yeah.
They've both got big or giant in them.
No more prominent a name in British wrestling as British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith. So his son being in there felt kind of cool. He hit a running power slam a la the original Davey Boy, which looked awesome because that's an awesome move. Braun Strowman does that now as his finisher.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
I just think it's a really good move. It always looks cool. It's so simple, but I don't know.
It's a nice move.
It felt like Davey Boy was doing really well and then was very quickly eliminated. And we were pretty much certain he was going to win because that felt like it made the most sense. But
almost definitely sure he was going to win.
Yeah. But then because of that, Grado was left on his own with the two tough boys.
Two tough boys?
Is
that what you call them?
The two tough boys.
Is that their stable name?
That's their stable name now.
Two tough boys.
Later on, I think I call them Mastiff's Men. Which would be an even better name for them.
Oh yeah, Mastiff's Men.
Mastiff's Men. Grado looked like was going to very much get the absolute shit beaten out of him, but out of nowhere, he managed to eliminate both of them incredibly luckily to win the match and be facing once again in another rematch Dave Mastiff. Which kind of weird to end and start the show with the same match, but I guess it kind of works for the narrative.
It's like a one-off.
Yeah,
definitely can.
But after the match, Grado got battered by Mastiff's Men.
He got battered.
Oh, it were a battering. They shut his gob right up.
I can't remember which match it was in, but there was a lot of "Go on, son" chants.
Oh yeah, go on, son. Go on, son.
Which is just really nice and endearing.
That's such a British chant. Yeah, so Grado was getting battered. Davey Boy came back to make the save, which was kind of cool.
D-boy.
D-boy. So yeah, that was sort of how that match ended. They were before that last break, before the end of the evening, there was a big sort of, ooh, can he compete? Is he all right?
Turns out it was fine.
Turns out he was all right, but
absolutely fine.
Well, in the next match, it did turn out that his leg did hurt, and he limped a lot.
I forgot to check how well he was selling it.
I think it was pretty good. Grado seems to be quite good at selling, which is good because, he kind of needs to when he's a bigger guy as well, but also kind of a baby face. He needs. I feel like that kind of is something that's kind of important for him. But no, he sold it really well. Mastiff's Men were chucked out immediately. I'm sticking with Mastiff's Men.
Two tough boys.
The two tough boys, Mastiff's Men. But this was a pretty short match, really. Because, I guess everyone was knackered at this point.
Yeah.
It was probably
would have been fucking knackered.
Yeah, he was in every match. It felt like, not that I'm complaining, it was kind of cool to have a through story. It was just really weird. But yeah, Mastiff was sort of toying with him and tried to sort of cheat by taking off the turnbuckle he covers and
generic heel tactics.
But then out of nowhere, there was an RKO.
There was out of nowhere.
Grado apparently taking
Grado
lessons. the Grado cutter, hitting an RKO for a quick finish, and Grado is now our World of Sport champion.
Yeah.
The over babyface overcoming the mountain of a man.
Is that the shortest title reign in World of Sport history? That is a question that I want to know. We'll find out for you.
We might not. It might be hard to find that out. I don't know where all the World of Sport stats are.
Just type in Google shortest World of Sport title reign.
I'll see. I'll have to have a look.
It's probably quite long.
Yeah, we'll have to have a look. We'll find out. That was our last match. So, your favourite match was El Ligero.
Definitely.
I think my favourite match was the first Grado and Mastiff.
Okay.
I just really enjoyed it. I felt like everyone played their role well, and it was just a fun, if slow, match. It was just nice.
A fun romp.
A fun romp of big men.
A romp of big men.
My favourite. Least favourite match?
I don't want to, but I'm going to have to say the women match.
It wasn't very good though, was it? Or it wasn't bad. It just was. It wasn't it didn't stand out in any way. It was I want to see more of Viper. She's a cool character, if a rip-off of two others, weirdly.
It's fine, we're letting gimmick infringement slide, remember? It's fine.
Yep. No, this is
I want to see more of Alexis Rose, see if she's just a one-off squash, or if she's got an actual character.
cool. It'd be cool to see more of everyone, to be fair. Like, it was all a very quick introduction to a lot of people we didn't know. But
If
was
you
done
get rid of
very
all
well.
the history lessons, there's loads more time to
Well,
build up
yeah, that's
character
true. And if
matches.
they decide to do it weekly anyway or whatever, there's going to be a lot to watch.
Mm.
But you'll hear it
Awesome.
here first on Fish Chips and Irish Whips.
Well, also stuck in the mid card. Same thing.
Maybe, or at least
A
something's
subsection.
something's gonna overlap, or it will work out somehow.
Yeah.
It'll all come out in wash.
Oh, it'll come out and wash.
But yeah, next time we'll probably be talking about some miscellaneous weekly British wrestling, maybe a bit of What Culture, maybe a bit of ICW.
Perhaps, which means I need to catch up on like the last 4 months of What Culture wrestling.
If you happen to just hit a miscellaneous pay-per-view that they've done, then maybe we should just watch a pay-per-view and do it sort of like as a catch-up for What Culture wrestling until we get up to date.
Cool. They
So
did
maybe
one with Matt Hardy quite recently. I've seen.
Yeah, delete WCPW, didn't they? So
But TNA also did like a one with Matt Hardy.
yeah,
which I've not seen.
He's a
I've
bit-
not even seen Roadblock yet. Jesus.
Yeah, you're a bit behind. But no, we'll bring you some more British wrestling next week anyway, here on Fish Chips and Irish Whips. But there's a
as is
tradition. We can't break tradition, even in a new venture.
Okay, Lyle, take us home.
Well, British wrestling doesn't have much in the way of music, so I don't know if this could become a new tradition. Everybody, thank you, and until next week, God bless. God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen.
How do you even know, like, where the words go for that?
I've heard people sing God Save the Queen before, alright?
Where?
I don't know, like sports.
Like, I know the
sports?
God save our something queen. Na na na, something queen.
The Queen.
That's the only bit that anyone ever knows. About.
Well, I knew more than that, okay? Hello there, and welcome to Fish, Chips and Irish Whips.
Yes.
Wait,
Hello.
what's that? Aren't these the handsome stuck in the mid-card boys that you're used to hearing?
How do they know we're handsome? They have to listen to us.
They assume we're handsome. We sound handsome. Well, you don't sound handsome.
Yeah, I've got an ugly voice.
You've got an ugly voice, but handsome. One handsome and one below average boys from stuck in the mid-card. Well, we've decided to change tact ever so slightly. And it's not that slightly, because really we're not covering much that's not British anymore, because there isn't much in the way of British podcasts, British wrestling podcasts.
So it's a matter of national pride.
As a matter of national pride, something I didn't know I had. I still don't think I have. But I now think that I need to battle for Queen and Country to defend British wrestling, or at least...
She watches the TV, you know.
She does. We'll be mentioning about how apparently the Queen does watch all
Stuck
the
in
wrestling.
The mid-card. No, that was us. The wrestling. She watches the wrestling.
She watches the wrestling. She probably listens as well. She's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
one of the many who's listened to our many podcasting ventures. But this is Fish, Chips and Irish Whips, a name that I came up with very quickly and was too stupid not to use.
I hate it, but I also hate myself for actually liking it a little bit.
Yep. So he fell into my trap.
The endearing trap.
So we're here to cover British wrestling. We've got this week. We'll be talking about the New Year's Eve World of Sport sort of one-off special that is probably turning into a series, but they want to call it a one-off special. So in case it went wrong, in case it went disastrously wrong,
Despite crowning a new champion.
despite crowning a champion for something that might not ever be
yeah.
defended. A weird thing, but we have that to cover. We're going to cover a lot of What Culture Pro Wrestling, probably.
At some point, not today.
And not today, in the future. We're going to cover the UK tournament that WWE are holding. We're going to look at ICW, maybe a few other places that...
Some, like...
We're not very knowledgeable in British wrestling. We're learning along with you.
Well, I've seen a bit of What Culture.
That's...
Like, it set me up nicely for the people that showed up in World of Sport.
It's true. There does seem to be a nice sort of staple of
Nice.
British good workhorses who go around the different companies who I'm sure we'll bump into much more regularly than others. Like El Ligero seems to be literally everywhere.
Fucking love El Ligero.
It makes sense that he's good if he literally wrestles every day of his life.
But how would he know? Because he's got the mask on.
Oh,
He might
that's
just be
true.
two separate dudes.
There might be a lot of El Ligeros. I guess that must be it. We've cracked it, folks.
We've cracked it.
But now we'll head straight in to talking about World of Sport.
Yes.
This broadcast on New Year's Eve,
I think you
ITV, 5 p.m.
Okay, well, that was more specific than
That
ours.
was yeah, a real primetime TV on,